where ideas take shape, thoughts find depth, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. One of his advocacy, what transformating or transformation and how to leverage divine timing in business. No other than Miss Cindy Van Arnam.
Hello. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Welcome, Miss Cindy. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am what I would like to call a lifestyle and power mentor. So I'm somebody who it's all about maximizing the return on investment out of life, not just business. And I work with two different systems of numerology to support my clients, as well as the practical application of universal law to help you not only get the return on investment out of your business, but also really activate all of the extraordinary that you get to experience out of life.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Cindy. Thank you. So today, as we talk about the 6 stages of transformation and how to leverage divine timing in business, tell
Mhm.
us what are typical triggers, the initial stage of transformation for entrepreneur, and how can they recognize a divine nudge rather than a random failure?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, let's say we're a startup business and you have this awareness of a great idea or something that you know as a gap in the marketplace. So, this opens up the first stage of divine timing, which is awareness. So, in awareness, what we're meant to be doing is being super curious and doing market research, checking things out. It's not a place of like jumping to mapping out the business plan, figuring out all the how. It's really a place of curiosity. And I find that most entrepreneurs jump from, I see a gap in the marketplace to, I'm going to figure out how to fill that gap. But in between, there's a whole bunch of other things that we need to be doing and focused on energetically before we get to the how. So, in this awareness stage, what we really want to focus on is being very curious, doing the research, finding out, maybe who your competitors are, if there are any in the marketplace, and really trying out new things without it needing to actually be the way that you do it. It's like I always refer to this like if you decide you're going to go on a health journey, you should try going to one yoga class before you join the gym because what if you don't even like yoga? It's just this
Yes.
idea of like trying something out without being fully committed to it yet. You're in the experimentation phase and this curiosity phase first.
Interesting, Miss Cindy. The middle stages of any transformation are often chaotic. What is the most common pitfall for entrepreneurs in these stages, and how can they navigate without reverting the old patterns?
Mm. Well, this also brings in several of the other stages of divine timing because there is a messy middle. And being an entrepreneur is all about innovation and living on the edge and doing things differently. I mean, that's the whole mentality of an entrepreneur. If we're not innovating and doing something different, then we may as well go get a 9 to 5. So, in the messy middle, there's the second stage of divine timing is the stage of acceptance. And I think this is where one of the big things comes up where, maybe old patterns, old habits, old belief systems need to be cleared out in order to continue to move forward. So, for example, you're a startup, but maybe you've never built a business before, or maybe it's in a completely different industry. and you're looking at it going, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have all these money beliefs that don't add up and don't match where I want to go. My mother, when I was 12, told me that I was going to be nothing but a failure, whatever, right? We have all these
Mhm.
beliefs in our mind that tend to quote unquote limit us. And if we just try to skip over that and just build the business without navigating what's going on in the ego mind or in the subconscious mind, then those things will eventually come up and bite us in the butt later. So we need to actually deal with those in the acceptance stage. And this requires feeling your feelings, which most humans don't like to do. We want to just get down to business and get things done, right? And but if
Yes.
we don't actually take the time to navigate and process past programming, past beliefs, things like that, then they're just going to rear their ugly head later. So, my recommendation to anybody when you're in this stage is to actually sit down and give yourself time to navigate something that your mom said to you when you were 12 or whatever it is, and to really feel what's coming up for you. But this is also a time to gather the resources that you need in order to create the business model. So, again, as I said earlier, we like to jump straight to the how. I'm going to build a business. How am I going to do it? But if you don't have the right people, community, support system, finances in place, again, going to be very difficult. So this is more a time where you're actually developing the business plan. You're looking at all the moving pieces. Who do I need in my corner? Who's going to be my support system? Is my spouse actually going to support me as I build this? Or is that person going to be somebody who's like a naysayer and completely pushing me down? And do I need to do something about that? So these kind of things, this is where all the messy middle happens, which then once that's navigated leads us into the third stage of divine timing, which is self-responsibility. And in this stage, it's a decision. And this decision can be made in an instant. And it's either I'm going to do this or I'm not. And despite the naysayers, despite any belief patterns that are still showing up, despite the slippery slope of reverting to old habits, I'm going to do this no matter what. And I'm willing to be all in. That's a decision point that's not made just from the mind, it's made at a cellular level where you are 100% committed, willing to do what it takes. And once that's activated, then you can hit the ground running with the final three stages of divine timing.
One of your stages likely involves surrender in a business culture that
Mhm.
glorifies hustle. What does practical surrender look like for an entrepreneur? How is it different from giving up?
Mm, surrender is not about giving up. Surrender is about blind faith, is what it
Ah,
is.
yes.
So that actually works really well as a segue into next two stages of divine timing. So once you've made a decision that you're going to go all in, you're willing to do what it takes. So now you've made commitments, and let's say, for example, you're a coach in the online space. You are committed to posting content every single day. You are committed to showing up and selling your offer every single day. You're committed to delivering your services to your clients every single day. And so you've got these standards that you set for yourself. And so by doing those things, what you do is you activate the law of momentum or the law of compound interest, where when you do enough of the right moves enough times, you start to build this momentum where things start picking up. And this is where another messy middle happens, where I see a lot of people give up, as you so eloquently said, right? We don't want to give
Yes,
up. Giving up is not an option because you decided you were all in, right?
yes.
But what happens in the momentum stage is things get very busy, very messy. Let's say you're an online coach, all of a sudden your calendar is filled. You're forgetting to take care of yourself because you've got so many moving pieces. You've got too many clients and not enough sales calls, and it's just messy. And now I've got to get a piece of content up, and oh, should I hire somebody to help me out with this? And so it creates this like what I like a storm, right? I refer to momentum as the image of a rocket ship taking off. If you've ever seen a rocket launch, it is messy. There is smoke and debris flying everywhere. But when we're in momentum and you're focused on the goal, focused on what you're building and where you're going, and you're doing the actions, you're not the smoke and debris. You're the rocket. And so the surrender piece, what you asked about, comes from trusting that if I do all these things and I keep doing them and I don't give up, I'm going to trust that the universe has got my back and this is all going to come into play. But what most people do is go, well, I don't see results yet. It's too messy. It's too busy. I don't know if I've got what it takes. Maybe I'm doing it all wrong. And so they quit instead of surrendering to the process and just continuing to move.
I like that, Miss Cindy. Surrender and just continue. So, how does the final stages or stage of integration manifest in the day-to-day operations of a business? What are
Mhm.
the tangible signs that the transformation has truly taken root?
Yeah, absolutely. So, transmutation is the final stage of divine timing. And transmutation is the moment that you see the result, where you witness the money coming into the bank account or the goal coming to fruition. And you witness it and you go, oh, I did it. But here's what most people do, they skip right over it, don't even notice it, and just keep moving. And they go right into, okay, great, I made that money. What's next? And they just keep going. And you forget to honor and celebrate the growth that has occurred. Say, for example, you're an online coach and your goal is to have consistent 10K months. And you go through the awareness. I want to create 10K months. This is my awareness. This is my curiosity. I wonder if I could do it. Then you deal with all your money beliefs because those show up when you're creating consistent revenue. So you've got to deal with the money story that you were taught when you were 5. You feel all your feelings around that. You work on your self-worth and you decide, I'm all in. In self-responsibility, you say, okay, I'm going to do what it takes. So then you move into activation and you're like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm posting content. I'm selling every day. I'm building my email list. I'm delivering to my clients. I've got offers going out all over the place. I'm doing it. And you continue to do it and do it and do it and do it, building momentum. And then all of a sudden, your bank account has $10,000 in it. What do you do? Do you just keep going and pretend like it didn't happen? Or do you just go, oh, I did it. I'm now the person who makes $10,000 a month. And then you move back into the awareness stage again. Okay, great. Now that I am the person who has become, I now have the identity of somebody who can make $10,000 a month. Now what? And you get curious again and you go back through the cycle again.
Be curious always, people. Who knows, you will
Yes.
be the next Einstein. So, Miss Cindy, how can an entrepreneur use their own systems without the stages of guide spot for where they need to grow the most?
Mm. I find that this often shows up. I mean, I also use two different systems of numerology where I can actually pinpoint where this growth opportunity is. But if even without the numerology, if you're looking at these 6 stages of divine timing, there's going to be growth opportunities in every single stage. Perhaps you're somebody who likes to jump immediately into the how. There's an opportunity there to trust the process more, to be more curious, to allow things to unfold in their own timing versus trying to force it. So there's an opportunity of growth there for releasing control. As human beings, we're pretty smart and we're pretty intelligent, but we cannot control the unseen world. And we have no possibility of doing that unless we're aware. In the acceptance stage, there's always opportunity for growth in acceptance stage depending on what's showing up for you and potentially triggering. So maybe there's a belief system that needs to be navigated, anything like that. Maybe there's a person in your life who's triggering you, who's creating relationship challenges that needs to be dealt with in order to get where you want to go. So the growth opportunity and acceptance is always going to show up for you. It's going to be very obvious which one needs to be done. And the other growth opportunity in the acceptance stage is moving through resistance. Because as human beings, we don't love to feel our feelings. I'd rather go and do stuff and pretend my feelings don't exist. And so the growth opportunity there is to learn emotional mastery and become better at understanding what's going on emotionally. In self responsibility, are you willing to go all in? Are you willing to commit? Are you being wishy washy in your decision making process? Or are you like, yep, let's go? Making decisions more quickly can help you move faster through the process. Instead of spending 3 weeks thinking something through, just pull the trigger and make a decision. We're either in or we're not. In activation, there's always things to learn and grow through activation. I mean, you're learning how to create better content. You're learning how to create better offers, better client onboarding. You're learning new skills as you become the identity of someone who's created the goal that you desire. In momentum, we're learning to just keep going, just keep swimming, as Dory would say, and really just staying true to the course and staying focused. In momentum, it's easy to get distracted by shiny objects because we think, ooh, that masterclass is the next best thing. I need to do that, instead of staying focused and honed in on where you're going. And then we can all, as human beings, learn to celebrate more. So in transmutation, celebrate, 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 celebrate. And if you think you've celebrated enough, celebrate a little bit more.
Yes, celebrate, celebrate for sure. And Miss Cindy, drive timing versus procrastination. This is a critical distinction. How can business leader tell the difference between honoring divine timing and simply procrastinating out of
I love
fear?
that question. Oh my gosh. So, fear has a way of showing up in the most unique and tricky ways, and procrastination is one of them.
Mm.
If you are saying, oh, say you've got a task on your calendar and you keep pushing it one day, next day, next day, next day, that's because you have resistance to the task, which means you're somehow afraid of it, or it needs to be delegated and taken off your calendar. Divine timing shows up as I'm doing the actions and trusting the process, and therefore I'm going to get the result. Procrastination shows up as I'm pushing that action off because I'm afraid of it or I have resistance to it and I don't want to do it. And so that's the difference. It's like we have free will. Yes, the universe is working on our behalf. Yes, it's supporting us. The unseen world is always creating what you're thinking and feeling and acting upon. So if you are pushing something off, guess what you're doing? You're pushing off your results. Whereas if you were to just move through that fear and take the action, then divine timing starts to kick in and says, oh, okay. And the universe goes, yeah, you actually do want this and you're willing to face your fears. One of my favorite expressions is your dreams live on the other side of your fears. So stop procrastinating, stop the resistance, move through it as quickly as you can, because if your dream lives on the other side, what are you waiting for?
Indeed. So, Miss Cindy, how do you reconcile the need for decisive action with the principle of surrendering to divine timing? What is the active look like in a quarterly business plan?
Mm. Yeah, I think having a really solid idea of a single or maybe two main projects every quarter, and really thinking about, what is it that I want to achieve? As entrepreneurs, we always have our fingers in way too many pots and we try to do too many things, and so nothing gets done. So having some sort of singular focus is really helpful for quarterly planning. But then looking at it from the perspective of collective energetics, understanding, the numerology and astrological influences that we're experiencing can help us understand, when I'm going to be a little bit quieter, when I'm going to be in full activation mode. Let's go. And then also understanding that we have free will. We as human beings, this is the beauty of being human, is that you get to decide what it is you're going to do, and you can plan all day long, but you also get to change the plan. So if you get halfway through your quarter and you're like, actually, this isn't what I want to be doing, you have full permission to change it because you're a human being that has this free will. You're not at the whim of what the universe is stating. You're not at the whim of astrological influences. You're not at the whim of anything. You get to decide. And I think this is a piece that a lot of people miss. It's like, I'm going to trust in the unseen world and I'm just going to move with the energy, except that it's a full moon in Pisces and it's Mercury retrograde. So I can't. I can't simply means I won't.
So, Miss Cindy, as a coach, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
Mm, long-term goals, it's not tangible. I want to impact as many lives as I possibly can through telling my story, sharing my work with the world. That's as far as I go for long term because
Hmm.
I know that I'm moving in a direction that my soul desires to go. And I'm not somebody who sets, smart goals. I've never been able to do that. I am somebody who knows where I'm going and I just move that way. So, short-term goals, I am part of a launch of a TV network that's going out to 480 million TVs around the world. And I am getting certified as a MC, red carpet, paparazzi, you name it. So I'm focused on that to really boost the visibility of this TV network. And I'm walking the red carpet in Atlanta in 2 weeks at the time of this recording.
Congratulations,
Thank
Miss
you.
Cindy. Looking forward for more success and good luck to your goals.
Thank
Well,
you.
what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be like you?
Mm. Well, nobody can be like me, and nobody can be like you. My advice, don't try to be like anybody else, just be more you. And that looks like self exploration. Personality tests, numerology is a really good way to find out more about who you are and what your purpose is in the world, how you want to move forward. I would have never, ever had award winning films and been on a TV network if I hadn't have had a numerology reading. But really, it's about activating more of what your soul wants instead of following the advice of what other people tell you. I can tell you all day long to post content, to sell your offer, to do this, to do that. But if ultimately it's not aligned with you and your soul, it's not going to feel good. So, my suggestion, follow the sacred yes, move where your soul wants you to move. And when somebody says should to you, question it.
Hmm. Thank you for that, Miss Cindy. Thank you for that advice. But before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast law 101 and mental health 101 and my movie 101 review and music 101 and fourth season and science 101 and sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Cindy, tell us for an entrepreneur feeling out of sync, burnout, and frustrated with forcing outcomes, what is the very first small step they can take today to begin aligning with this transformative process?
Yeah, the first thing, honestly, is if you're feeling burnt out and exhausted, stop trying to force things. Just like schedule a weekend off and take a break and step back and look at the bigger picture. Oftentimes, when we're burnt out or we're feeling the exhaustion, which just feels like I'm forcing everything and I'm just tired, it's often because you're doing a bunch of things that are out of alignment with where you're supposed to be focused. And so if you can step out of the minutia and look at the bigger picture and go, what is it I'm actually trying to achieve here? And then do a bit of a brainstorming session and look at all the things that you're doing and ask yourself and get really radically honest with yourself. Are those things moving me towards where I'm supposed to go? Or do I just think I need to do them? Because I guarantee you, there's probably 50% of the things that you're doing, you don't actually need to be doing.
Definitely. Miss Cindy Van Arnam, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Sorry, say that again. I missed a question.
Would you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can follow me on social media. I'm active most on Instagram and Facebook. And you can come and join my website at fullblastcoaching.com. I have free resources on there that can help you to understand the divine timing rhythm a little bit more.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Cindy Van Arnam because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering coaching to come. So, Miss Cindy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Marticon people, see you soon.